Hello, friends. I am here to share some of my behind the scenes secrets with ChatGPT because, yes, I do use it to write emails. I do use it for branding. But as I'm writing this email, which is all about the things you cannot do with ChatGPT, I figured let me show you my process because that may actually be really helpful for you. And seeing is believing and understanding better. So here we go. This is actually where I'm at right now. I'm writing an email series where I am basically talking about different aspects of branding each and every day. And for this email, I wanted the concept of if you think AI can help you make your brand at the push of a button, think again, okay? So that's the gist of this email. And here in ChatGPT, I basically wrote, okay, so next email. Now I've had this very long thread with it. So it knows what I've been writing about. It knows my expertise. It's not a custom GPT, but it's the general free chat GPT that I've been having a very long conversation with for other emails. So I said, okay, so next email needs to use the following framework pasted below. But before we use it, please help me come up with 5 potential topics for the email. Now, the framework itself is from my mentor who is teaching me how to sell better and more automated. And I gravitated towards him because I loved the way he was selling to me. So I'm like, I want to learn how to do it that way because it seems very engaging. It doesn't feel sleazy. So please teach me how to do that. So he has given me frameworks for various emails in my email sequence. And basically, I pasted this framework into ChatGPT. But first, I wanted the 5 potential topics for the email. So let's see what happened. Okay, so here we are. Here are 5 potential topics that would work well for the email based on the framework provided, okay? So why most landing pages don't convert and what to do instead, the truth about building an email list, why most people fail at selling digital products, and why mindset matters more than strategy in your business growth. And I was like, WTF, ChatGPT, this is not what my specialty is. We've already been talking about branding. You know that I'm into branding, and that's what we're supposed to be discussing here. So I very politely said, thank you, because I'm always polite to ChatGPT in case it takes over the world and it comes and finds me. I should have specified that it needs to be about branding. Also, my offer, which is only teased here, is this. So just so I make sure it totally understands, I gave it my program that I'm going to be teasing in the email. Next thing that comes up is, got it. Here are 5 branding related topic ideas that align with your offer and follow the framework. Okay, we're making progress here. The biggest branding myth that's holding you back, why most coaches struggle to stand out online, the truth about branding, blah, 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 blah. None of this felt exciting to me. It's a lot of stuff I've already covered. So I basically said, so far I've addressed the topics we've used in the emails above. Please refer to them for reference, Frankenstein branding syndrome, and the myth that you don't need a brand if you're starting out. What could be a real truth bomb that hits home? One I can think of is that you can DIY your brand and AI will do all the work. So that's a misconception. Yes, AI is amazing, but it's also agreeable, not necessarily constructively critical. It also provides so many options and directions that it can be supremely overwhelming and time-consuming to figure out your exact strategy that is if not perfectly aligned, okay? So as you can see, I've already had a whole bunch of back and forth with ChatGPT. So it's not a push the button and voila, everything is in front of you. It's a chat for sure. So it's also very agreeable because it says, that's a great truth bomb. The idea that AI isn't the magic bullet for branding, but rather a tool that requires strategic input is a really compelling angle. ChatGPT will typically agree with you and be your biggest cheerleader. And I write about that in the email. So truth bomb number 1, AI can't build your brand for you. I read this. I thought it was exactly what I was looking for because it's pretty much what I prompted it to come up with. And so I said, okay, so using the framework I gave you, let's create an awesome email about number 1, AI won't just whip up a brand for you. You need to be in the driver's seat with focus and strategy as your co-pilots, okay? And again, I pasted the framework because I didn't trust that it would remember what framework I put in the first place. Here we are. with the subject line that it generated, AI can't build your brand, but here's what can. Okay, I really actually like that. And then it has this whole email it came up with. Now, one thing I want to point out is how it starts. It is not how my email ended up. And also, right here, it decided to add this very handy and completely fictitious case study of a client of mine named Sarah, who I have never had as a client. And if you're a Sarah out there, by all means, reach out and I'm happy to help you with your brand. But this is complete nonsense, okay? Even if it rings true, I never, ever, ever, and highly recommend that nobody does this either, use a made-up case study or a made-up testimonial. I am very big on being truthful. So this was completely X'd out of my email. Okay, so let me show you what my email looked like, okay? So again, this is my intro. There's a lot of buzz about the power of AI, and I get it. I really do. AI helped me write this email. AI helped me shape my brand and craft my website copy too. The problem is that a lot of people think helped means I pushed a button and voila, AI did all the thinking and work for me. Okay, and as I'm showing you in this process, that's not the case here. This is how ChatGPT started the email. I think a lot of people get the wrong idea about AI when it comes to branding. They think blah, 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 blah. That's not how I started my email. I made it much more personal and much more based on my own experience, okay? And I say, in my extensive experience, this is simply not true. Here's why. And then I explain all the different reasons. Again, this is not how ChatGPT laid out the email. So this email is an amazing springboard for me to use my expertise and my own brain cells to come up with something that's even better, in my opinion. But it's not just saying, oh, great, this is perfect, I'll just go ahead and publish it. And that's what so many people do out there. And number one, it's crappy because it's probably not the best version of whatever it is that you could write. And number two, like it's got none of your own personality, authenticity. So when I go back to my edited email, this is an email, my edited email, you will note that I broke it down exactly why you cannot just use ChatGPT to create your brand with a push of a button. Number one is it's super agreeable. So basically, is it telling you the right information or is it just telling you what you want to hear? Number two, it is not constructively critical. It does not have real world human experience. Number three, it's overwhelming. You can get lost in a chat rabbit hole where you're just going back and forth and back and forth. And honestly, some of my chats are so long. It is not necessarily the fastest way from A to B. Okay. And if you're thinking that it's going to help you brand and just kind of give you all the answers and clarity and ideas, you're probably going to go around and around in circles and end up super confused. And then lastly, AI is pretty generic. Now, I didn't believe this at first because I just thought all the copywriters in the world, and I'm one of them, were freaking out and they wanted to say to their clients, don't use ChatGPT to write your copy. It's just so generic. And I was like, I don't know. But the more I've used it and the more I've seen out there, it really does have a specific turn of phrase. And the way it writes can scream written by AI. It gets a little bit too clever sometimes. The metaphors can be really outlandish. You really have to rein it in, and you have to add your specific unique personality and brand personality in order for it to really sound like you and to connect with your ideal clients. And last year, I was using ChatGPT to edit a lot of my emails, and I should have kind of pushed back more, or it's not even a case of pushing back. You're the one who's the boss. But I should have taken less of its suggestions and kept more of my own style of writing, because I found that when I did, that's when people resonated with me much more. And in the days before ChatGPT, I often had my subscribers emailing me and being like, oh my God, that story was so funny, or I love how you were so honest about this. So really, people aren't looking for this generic copy. They're looking for you, for me, for our experience, and for what we have to offer, even if it's not perfect, okay? So again, this intro is completely different to what ChatGPT wrote for me. I took out that case study, which was completely fictitious. And then the end was a lot stronger and I feel like it's what I want to say, but I also really abbreviated it. I put in my own ways to phrase things. And so I got something that was inspired by this original email, but definitely not verbatim. Okay. Then I decided, okay, please review my email for grammar, clarity, and making sure that it's factual. And in these ways, ChatGPT really shines. So I pasted what I had. Unfortunately, the formatting never stays the same. But when ChatGPT reviews it, there's good formatting. So it made some suggestions. For example, it says AI is super agreeable. Number one, it's like your BFF. It wants you to feel good. It'll cheer you on with a hearty, "You've got this" every time. That might work wonders for your ego, but let's be real. It's not always giving you the most constructive feedback. So that is perfect. I mean, that really is exactly what I'm trying to say. But I'm going to keep mine because it says AI is super agreeable. It's like your BFF. It will find ways to make you feel like you've got this because it literally tells you you've got this, okay? To me, that's funny. And that's exactly what it says to me all the time. You've got this. It works for my ego every time, but I'm not always sure it's keeping things real, okay? So that's me. That's the way I would speak. So I'm not going to take the suggestion. I'm keeping it exactly as it is. The same goes for the other stuff. Like, I'm going to go through it with a fine-tooth comb. If I think it's phrased something better, I will take that suggestion. But I am certainly not going to go, "Oh, it knows better than me," and just copy and paste what it has edited. Okay. So I will probably give it one last review, run through ChatGPT before I actually put it into my email service provider. The thing with that is there's no spell check. So that's why I like to use ChatGPT as like my last proofreader. Of course, in Pages, there's spell check, so that's fine too. But yeah, that's my process. And so I hope that I've really illustrated that ChatGPT is an incredible tool. And there are many other platforms out there as well. There's Claude.ai, there's Perplexity, there's Gronk. There's so many that you can choose from. They're amazing, amazing tools, but they are not going to get you from point A to point B, especially if you don't know where point B is, okay? You're going to go around and around in circles, or you're going to end up with something so generic that doesn't actually come from you and from your experience and expertise. So again, it's so important to first know where you're going, and especially with your brand, to have clarity about who you are, what you stand for, what your brand stands for. And then, of course, you can use these tools to help you expedite the execution of brand assets and things like that. But you first need to know where it is that you're going and what you're trying to accomplish. So I hope this video has been helpful. There will be far more to come, so please subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon for more biz fun and branding.